Howdy folks, this is Applegate. Tonight I've got a couple videos were subscriber requests. They're both related to the Lullaby for Princess animation that I did a reaction to a little while back here. It's actually a couple response songs, I guess you'd call them. The first one's called Luna's Reply, and the other one is Luna's Soliloquy, although the version that I got is actually one where somebody has put that song together with the original Lullaby for a Princess song and as a duet between the two princesses. So haven't heard either of these songs yet, so this should be interesting. I mean, the original song from Celestia was certainly a bit of a tearjerker. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm in for emotionally here tonight, but I'll give these a watch and see what kind of thoughts and emotions they did end up stirring up here for me. Excuse me. All right, we'll start with the Luna's Reply. Starting now.
I never should have done this. Please, sister, why can't you just take me back? Please. How my deeds pain me as time stretches long. How could I have hurt them this way? So rest easy now, my punishment's mine. The weight of my crimes are my own. But into that stillness you brought me your song. With your voice my company kept. For your tired eyes and sweet lullabies, in exile I pay you my debt. Once did a pony who gleamed like the moon look out on her kingdom and sigh. Dejected she cried, surely there is no pony who loves me or finds any love in my night. So great was her pain, she rose in rebellion against those who cared for her most. She let the nightmare fall on those she ruled and threatened to grip them in permanent cold. Lule, dear Tia, good night, sister mine. Rest now in starlight's embrace. May this cool lullaby reach you in dreams and ease you your passage of days. May my apologies find you this night, and may my sorrow in kind. Tia, you loved me much more than I knew. Forgive me for being so blind. Soon did her sister do what was demanded, and gave to the moonlight her due. Breaking the harmony, she saved her ponies and banished her as a wise ruler must do. But such is the weight of the crown that we wear, sister duties we always uphold. May you forgive me that foolishness mine, and live on with no burden upon your soul. Lule, dear Tia, good night, sister mine. Rest now in starlight's embrace. May this cool lullaby reach you in dreams and ease you your much more than I knew. May troubles be far from your mind, and forgive me for being so blind. The space now before us, empty and forlorn. I never imagined we'd face them all alone. May these endless seasons swiftly pass, I pray. I love you, I miss you, all these miles away. May all your dreams be sweet tonight, safe upon that bed above the lights, and no, not of heartache, fear, nor gloom. And when I dream, I'll fly away to meet you soon. Sleep, sleep, sleep.
Every time I watch one of these, I just start thinking about the real weight of what those two went through. Yeah. Now there were some things in there that did get me thinking. Well, she talked about the weight of the crown, and that's that's something that doesn't get necessarily talked about as much. I mean, there's so many people out there on a quest for for power. They want to be in charge, in control, ruling whatever body of land or people or whatever they want to rule. Government officials, kings, queens, whatever. But it all sounds like fun and games. It's glamorized a lot. Being in power is definitely glamorized. You're in control. You make the rules. It's life is good and you're in charge of everything. But just because you're put in a position of power doesn't mean all your troubles go right out the window and you have no responsibilities anymore. In fact, it's just the opposite. You have far more responsibilities than you've ever had before, and your problems increase exponentially as a result. I mean, just look at all the the movies that have been and TV shows and everything that have been made, over all the the years, the decades, and whatnot, where um, like members of royalty, they're desperate to just escape for even a day, just have a day to themselves rather than being under their royal duties all the time. Running a kingdom is not an easy task by any means. So it just that putting it in that context, thinking of what the choice that Celestia had to make, and well, and I should say, along with all those responsibilities, there's a lot of tough choices that have to be made, and sometimes the choices that have to be made aren't necessarily what you would really like yourself, but they're what's in the best interest of your kingdom, of your for your people that you're supposed to be protecting and serving and whatnot. If you're a good ruler, which Celestia is. And I mean, this decision was probably the hardest one she ever had to make as a ruler of Equestria. The decision to banish her sister. I mean, the weight of her crown must have weighed, a few metric tons that day. I don't know why I said metric tons, but whatever, just something that sounded like really heavy. um, it just, but then the other thing, it mentioned that she broke what were the words? She broke harmony, and to banish her sister. I mean, talk about a cruel irony. I'd never even it's never dawned on me before. It is such a cruel irony that Celestia had to destroy the bond of harmony between herself and her sister by using the elements of harmony to banish her. I guess you could argue that the harmony had already kind of broken down by the fact that Luna went off the deep end, but still, I mean that doesn't change the fact that Celestia loved her and wanted what's best for her. I mean, what an impossible choice. What's what you want versus what you want for your sister versus what's the best for your kingdom. Yeah. This is going to sound kind of dark, but I mean I would have said at least you didn't have to kill her. I mean, well, that would make for a very good little kids show, would it? But at the same time, banishment for 1,000 years, that's almost worse in some ways. I don't know, that can be debated to death, but man. And then there's the question, so some of this I'm probably going to regret not saving till after I watch the next video, because I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about after that one, but it's in my mind right now. I want to talk about it. It's never been clear, just based on the show canon, there's really no suggestion one way or the other. Was Luna, did she revert back to herself after being banished? I mean, she came back. When she came back, she was Nightmare Moon, either still or again. So, I mean, this reply, I mean, as awesome as it is, I just gotta say right there, these lyrics and singing, I mean, fantastic job to who created those. No, singing wasn't perfect, but it's for somebody who's not a professional singer, I'm guessing that was really, really good. And especially the writing of the lyrics, those are powerful. So A+ to that. But no, I'm just wondering, did she revert to Luna, or did she stay Nightmare Moon? Or I mean, was she even technically conscious while she was sealed away? I mean, there's so many questions about that. Or oh, the other one I was thinking about, um, is it one of those cases where, like, in terms of, physically speaking, she was still Nightmare Moon, but it was, the true Luna, like, always down inside the, like, in the subconscious of Nightmare Moon, just, screaming and trying to get out, but couldn't, because Nightmare Moon had become so powerful, it had overtaken her. I don't know. That's kind of what I would go with. That would be my theory, is that, the true Luna never disappeared. She just allowed herself to be overtaken by this evil persona, Nightmare Moon, that was created by, dark magic or dark energy or something. And so it was just a matter of, being able to reach Luna and free her from the grip of this evil energy. And in that respect, I mean, she may still have been able to observe everything that was going on, and that right there is even just makes it even more heart-wrenching. Because if everything she did as Nightmare Moon, if she was able to consciously observe that and remember that, I mean, just, think of it, when she battled Celestia, for control over Equestria, and then getting banned and spending the whole 1,000 years on the moon in banishment, just being torn up inside for, feeling bad for what her sister had to do to protect the kingdom. And then even after Nightmare Moon came back and attempted to take control again, and trying to overpower the main six, and divide and conquer, so to speak, which ultimately didn't work. But I mean, just all of that, man. Just unfathomable what it would be like to live with that. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna move on to the other one here because time is rolling on. This one's a little longer, actually, but yeah, I'm curious to see how. I think this one was a. I don't know if this was written specifically to go alongside the original one, or if somebody just got creative with the editing. I'm not really sure, but either way, yeah, I'm gonna watch these together and see how well they work. All right. Lullaby for Princess and Luna's Soliloquy Duet, starting now.
Stars will recount my last day. Once did a pony who She smiled and said, surely there is no pony so lovely and so well beloved as I. Once was a pony whose moon shone so bright, these stars were in awe at its glow. She smiled and said, surely there is no pony who dare be asleep through this marvelous show. So great was her reign and so brilliant her glory that long was the shadow she cast, which fell dark upon the young sister she loved, and grew only darker as days and nights passed. Yet where were they all, her subjects she never caught sight of when shadows did fall. Their laughter and joy was but a hopeless dream, which grew into nightmares as sun rays charmed all. Lullaby, moon princess, good night, sister mine. Rest now in moonlight's embrace. Bear up my lullaby, winds of the earth, through cloud and through sky and through space. Carry the peace and the coolness of night, and carry my sorrow in kind. Luna, your love so much more than you know. Forgive me for being so blind. Wait now, sun princess, the night will arise, so keep not my moon in its place. Tia, my judgment was not yours to give, and so now we'll both meet our fates. Carry my radar, you shadows of night, and carry my sorrow in kind. Sister, your deed hurt much more than you know. The time for my vengeance is nigh. Soon did that pony take notice that others did not give her sister her due, and neither had she loved her as she deserved. She watched as her sister's unhappiness grew. The beams of another cast brightly on others whose love and affection it drew. And there that moon princess was shunned by the world, as hate filled her heart and unhappiness grew. But such is the way of the limelight, it sweetly takes hold of the mind of its host. Why don't they adore me? She thought to herself, as the other had no right to boast. And that selfish pony did nothing to stop the destruction of mine who had needed her most. Lullaby, moon princess, good night, sister mine. Rest now in moonlight's embrace. Bear up my lullaby, winds of the earth, through cloud and through sky and through space. Carry the peace and the coolness of night, and carry my sorrow in kind. Luna, your love so much more than you know. May troubles be far
chills through most of this, both of these songs. Excuse me. It's just unlocked another thought path for me. It's really hard to say where or at what point along those 1,000 years that the two were able to forgive each other or themselves. I mean, they were both in the wrong. Celestia allowed herself to, bask in the glory of, praise of all of the ponies and everything during the daytime. It kind of went to her head, and she felt like she was, more important, more well loved, more, whatever. But figured it wasn't, as people often do when they start getting, big egos, they don't necessarily realize who they're hurting when they allow themselves to get that way. And she apparently didn't recognize, either didn't see it or didn't want to see, how it was hurting her sister. Luna, on the other hand, was in the wrong for by allowing her, jealousy and and anger and everything, for the harm Celestia was doing to her to take her over and make her go evil and crazy. So, after they battled and Luna as Nightmare Moon was banished, essentially that that begins the start of a healing process. I mean, that's like the the ultimate hurt there of one having to banish the other. But they not only they both ultimately had to forgive themselves and forgive each other. And both are very, very difficult to do in their own right. When you could argue that Luna really, until that, until what's the name of that episode? Do Princesses Dream of Sheep or something like that? Season 5, episode 13. I know the episode number. When Luna had to fight the Tandabus. That was an evil being of her own creation in her dreams. Luna never really truly forgave herself until that point. So she was tormented by with the guilt of her misdeeds. Those entire 1,000 years plus. Celestia, probably was in the same boat to a large degree. And I think that's actually why we joke about Celestia never being around to fix problems. Well, problem number 1 in the entire series was the return of Nightmare Moon. And Celestia was mysteriously gone, nowhere to be found. Well, guess what? Chickens had come home to roost, to borrow the expression, and she probably, couldn't bring herself to face Nightmare Moon or Luna again. She didn't want to have to deal with that again because of what, I mean, the possibility was that she would have to turn around and do the exact same thing as, that Luna never forgave her and came back and was going to try to do the same thing all over again. And, she didn't know if she could live with herself doing that a second time. So, yeah, that's as far as forgiving themselves, but then for forgiving each other, it's difficult enough to forgive somebody when they're actually sorry about what they did and ask for forgiveness and try to repent for what they did. It's something else entirely when you are completely separated from them. You don't know if they're actually sorry or not. I mean, that's and they were disconnected for 1,000 years, and then on one hand, Celestia's sitting here wondering, did she reform herself and figure things out in her head, get her head straight, and was she going to come back sorry for what she did? But for Luna is I never, that was the point I was trying to get to in a roundabout way. I never thought about Luna. I mean, these songs were essentially about Luna saying she's sorry and asking her sister to forgive her and not torment herself anymore. But there was something in the song, and I have to pull up the lyrics to go back and look at it. I'm not going to spend time on that, but there was one of those verses in there where Luna's just like, are you still the same? She's, because all Luna remembers, up to the point she was banished, is that Celestia was what was the one on the ego trip. Just taking all the praise and glory and everything, and leaving her sister in the dark, pun not exactly intended. So, knowing that, I mean, just think about Luna sitting there, plotting her revenge, because that would actually make more sense. Luna would have had no way of knowing that Celestia was terribly sorry for what she had done, and she had changed to become a better pony because of it, a better ruler. And she had learned from her mistake. Luna just had no way of knowing that. So, if Luna during her time on the moon was actually, I mean, back to the thing that like Luna in the subconscious of Nightmare Moon was actually able to forgive her sister, that took some major doing to be able to do, because for all she knew, her sister was happy that she had banished her and just like, great, now I don't have to deal with you anymore. I mean, that would have been essentially Celestia going dark side if it had come to that, in all honesty, and that wouldn't have been good for anybody or any pony. So it's a good thing that that didn't happen. But um, you know, that's an unfortunate reality of life. Sometimes, unfortunately, we have to learn lessons the hard way. We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect by any stretch of the imagination. And sometimes people are just bound and determined to do stupid things and make mistakes. And, you know, quite honestly, sometimes that's the best way to learn. You can warn somebody and warn them and warn them and warn them until they try something and experience it for themselves and find out just how bad it is. They won't get it. So yeah, wow. Oh, anyway, well, I think I've probably talked long enough about these, but that once again, fantastic job on the lyrics, um, and the singing very well done for Luna's part, the fan part. Well, Celestia's part was the best. This was all fan voiced, and obviously. So, but I already talked about the Lullaby for Princess one with Celestia. So anyway, great job all around. Even the editing to put these two together, great job. Is almost seamless. I mean, that's very good job there. So, oh man, and every time, like I said, every time I see somebody's one of these songs, or I'm sure there's fanfics out there. There's probably gazillions of fanfics on this particular topic that I have yet to encounter and read. But it's such a deep topic to explore. I mean, there's this. We've been given so little of the details in the show. It's anybody's guess, what really happened and how intense it was and whatever. And I just, it's heart wrenching, it's emotional, but at the same time, it's great because this is you can draw so many parallels between this conflict and things that happen in real life. I mean, this is kind of obviously an exaggerated version of things we encounter in our own lives, but there's still great moral lessons to be gleaned from this. And, excuse me. I'm still trying to get rid of this pesky cough. Anyway, so yeah, I love hearing theories on this stuff, and and versions of it. It just anything that can evoke this kind of emotion and in-depth thought about right and wrong and what we could have done different, done better. That's what's so great about this show in general. Is there's just so many great lessons in this content that we can take away from and use in our own lives. So all right, I'm just gonna talk around in circles if I keep going on this. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed me watching these and offering my thoughts on them. And yeah, if there's any more things like this hiding out there, feel free to send them my way. I'll probably definitely want to check them out. So, but for tonight, I'll just leave you with those thoughts, and please throw me some comments. Let me know your thoughts on the matter. Do you agree with some of my thoughts? Do you disagree? Have different ideas? Honestly, I'd love to hear other ideas. So, let me know. Debate floor is open. So, all right, that's all I got for tonight. Thanks a lot, guys, and we'll catch you again next time.